That's it. Drive. And relax. Do you feel? Yeah. So you're not sinking as much into it, you know, when you're jumping, you're not sinking, so you're kind of, yeah, exactly, good. Really far or anything. It's just more so that we're sort of moving actively with it, okay? So get your rhythm. That's very good. 3, 2, 1. So say, for example, if you're coming through in a slow motion sprint and your toe is here, that means when you strike the floor, you have to come down to come back up again. So that whole thing of reactivity, when your toes are up, your foot is ready to strike the floor in that position, and then it's just a case of coming back up off the floor, okay? So it's about pushing you forward like that rather than and then having to push. That puts loads of strain on the hamstring, okay? What's the crack, and welcome back to another YouTube video, guys. So it is Monday 20th of July. We're just setting up for another busy week here of coaching in the gym, online, lots of bits and pieces on. Back in playing football myself as well. Had a game there on Friday, challenge game ahead of championship. Pretty happy with where I'm at. Definitely have had a solid, I suppose, 4 to 5 weeks of training gone in now. Really locked in on nutrition, locked in on purposeful training outside of my team trainings and games. Everything is kind of to benefit what I do in those. So yeah, been really enjoyable the last few weeks. Really enjoying kind of being back in the, you know, in the mix of GA, training for a GA, training to be athletic on the pitch and things like that. So you're really buzzing with it. And today I am going to be recording a meetup with one of my MBF Performance clients, Sam. So Sam is one of my members inside the one-to-one coaching for MBF Performance. She is a GA player just recently after getting back into playing senior football. So really looking forward to meeting up with her and kind of going through an in-person session. We're going to go through, I suppose, the likes of a couple of mechanics in terms of speed, acceleration, plyometrics, a couple of different drills, just to kind of see how she's moving. So that's something that I'm hoping to do with a good few of my players that I have inside one-to-one online coaching for MBF Performance. Online coaching is amazing and we can do loads with online coaching, but I think, you know, having that kind of one-to-one in-person, I suppose, meet up or contact every now and again is good. You can kind of chat away different things, and it's, you know, you can get more of a deeper visual of how these players are moving through the exercises and the drills. So that's kind of the main goal with that. So yeah, really looking forward. Going to head out to the pitch now soon and meet her, and I'll take a couple of clips of what we're doing and I'll put on the mic and kind of, you might be able to hear me talking through why I'm getting her to do what it is as well. As I spoke about in the last video, like understanding the why behind what you're doing is going to allow you to kind of understand it better, obviously, but you're going to be more intentful with doing it then as well, and you're going to understand, you know, by doing this it's going to benefit such an area of my performance and so on and so forth. So I think that's a really important part of it as well. So yeah, going to get stuck in here, a little bit of work on the laptop before I go over, and the next clips you see me, I'll probably be in the gym or on the pitch out with the club that Sam plays for, and we'll be going through a couple of bits and pieces. So make sure, if you've any questions, if you find this useful, this video, drop a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and there'll be links in the bio as well to find out information about working with me one-to-one inside MBF Performance. I've actually had a busy Monday so far. We've had some morning coaching here in the gym. I've had my own session done. I've had a consultation call with a potential client who is joining, which is really, really good. Really excited to get her up and running. And yeah, so if you are interested, hit the links in the description. You'll see the information and we can book in a call completely free of charge, just a chat to kind of see where you're at, what you need help with. And one thing that players have been finding really useful recently from myself is the performance scorecard. So basically the link will be in the description as well, and the performance scorecard is basically where it's going to highlight kind of areas that you need to focus on, and then I'm going to give you feedback, and that will give you some clarity of how to structure that into your week, how to focus on those areas to give you the most bang for buck in your performance when it comes to team training and games. So, you know, the biggest thing I hear from players at the minute is that they're unsure what to do outside of team trainings, and they're unsure how to structure it for themselves within their week without feeling fatigued, without kind of overdoing it, without running the risk of picking up an injury because they're not sure what it is that they're doing. So, you know, getting some clarity at this stage of the season is going to be very beneficial. You want to be fresh heading into championship. And then, you know, I was speaking to the girl I had in the consultation call, it's kind of about building that then into off season as well, so that you kind of have like a yearly outlook in terms of, you know, what you should be focusing on at certain times of the season. Yes, in the off season you're going to have a bit more room to play with, you know, how you train. You'll have a little bit more, I suppose, freedom, if you like. You know, you won't have the responsibility of having to perform on the pitch for game day, so you can kind of trial and error with different things, maybe add in a class that you mightn't have done before, or start doing a small bit more running on the road or something like that, you know. So it's all about kind of understanding, having some structure, plan in place there for yourself so that you can get the most out of your performance. And that is my main goal with MBF Performance here as well, especially for club players who, you know, don't have the resources, maybe don't have the knowledge or the information behind them as well, and it's to give them some structure with that as well. So you'll see me chatting with Sam in the next couple of clips, talking through her, I suppose, the way that she's moving, different drills and things like that, giving her a couple of pointers, and just basically seeing how she's moving and giving her some advice. So hopefully you do find it helpful, and leave a comment below if you do. So we'll pop down onto the mat, Sam, right? And like some of the stuff we would have been doing in like warm up in my gym as well, you know, but just some more specific stuff as well. So just do a couple of lumbar rotations here.
Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. If you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful, where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time.
Where like when it's nice here, sure you wouldn't really like, you know, yeah. So yeah, that's it, you see. So what we'll do now, Sam, is we're going to kind of stretch the front. I'll do it this side just so you can see. So we're going to kind of stretch the front here. So it's like hip flexor and kind of quad stretch. So we're in this sort of position. We're keeping our ribs over our pelvis, and I'm getting you to squeeze this glute. And you should, once you squeeze that glute, you should feel a stretch kind of coming up along the front here. And then keep the ribs down, and then just slightly tilt forward. And you should feel a little stretch coming up along. Do you feel that there on that side? Yeah. Would your hip flexors be tight ever? No, not too bad.
Not so much.
Yeah.
It would have been over the past, but not so much now.
Yeah, good. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Okay. So just staying in that position then, Sam, we'll pop up on the back foot here. We'll just get that elbow down nice and deep here. And then we'll swing open nice and wide. And back down. Around. Good. Up and around. Good. Good. One more there for me, Sam. Good. How's that feeling? Not too bad? Yeah? Brilliant. Okay, good. So we'll pop up now. We'll grab these mats and we'll just put them aside. How are the ankle? No, it's not the. It is the ankles. Yeah.
Ankle and heel, I suppose.
Yeah.
But they've been okay now. I would always strap them kind of just for
up along. Yeah. Perfect.
But you know, like touch wood now, even with hard ground, my heel has been okay.
Good.
But I kind of just watch it. Like say I did a lot of walking on Saturday, so once I came home from training yesterday, did nothing.
Yeah.
I kind of just try and manage the load as best as I can.
Yeah, of course, yeah, 100%. Okay, so what we might just do is just do a couple of bodyweight calf raises here first, okay? So even if we just come over here and we'll just get them warming up, we'll just do a few from the floor. I'll get you a plate then, and we'll do a couple of elevated ones as well. So just kind of warming up that ankle complex a little bit more first. Good.
That's the 10.
Yeah, perfect, 100%. So we'll do a couple of single leg ones now, Sam. So just getting one foot on it, and then we're just kind of coming up and back down. All right, and just see how that feels for you. Good. Would you find now the one side is weaker than the other in general?
This is my weak side.
Weak side.
I find it now, even for balance and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Even standing still, I'm less secure.
Sure, yeah. Okay, feels good. Okay, brilliant. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do like a little bit of a walk and lunge here, but I want you to kind of tuck in your knee like this. So you're kind of tucking in the hip flexor, and then I want you to drop down into that there, okay? And then the other side, squeeze, and then drop down. So you're just letting that knee come down. Two knees kind of come down together, and we're just absorbing a bit more force now on that as well. So just kind of going up along here, we'll walk back and we'll do this twice, okay? So we're just getting the hip flexors into a bit more flexion and extension now. Good. Good. So down. Up. I just want you to get that kind of mind-muscle connection. Like when you get off the floor, you come back down to it and you get off it as quick as you can. Okay, so you're kind of like that. Bounce rather than rather than this, or rather than that. Okay. 3, 2, 1. So one thing I'd say is there's a good bit of knee flexion, so you're sinking a lot into it, right? So even just relax your arms. We'll take the arms off the body. Sometimes that can be off-putting for people as well. So we'll just go for smaller jumps. And see the way there's kind of less knee flexion when I'm doing that there. So, and it's almost like bounce off the floor, okay? And try that again. Better. Bounce, bounce, bounce. That's much better. Good. Do you feel? Yeah. So you're not sinking as much into it, you know, when you're jumping, you're not sinking, so you're kind of exactly. Good. Of these again now, Sam. So we'll go on the spot once more, and then we'll just do a couple of moving ones for me then as well, and we'll do another variation then, okay? So again, thinking about nice and strong off the floor, okay? Good. That's it. Bounce, bounce. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's much better. Well done. Do you find the difference? Does it feel okay in your ankles? Yeah. Good. So rather than it's not rather than tippy toe, it's actually mid-foot, but we're thinking about pulling that toe up when we come up off the floor when we're active. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do a couple of just kind of up along the floor. And we don't need to aim for, like, we'll say between jumps trying to get really far or anything. It's just more so that we're sort of moving actively with it, okay? So get your rhythm, and then we'll start moving forward, okay? So we'll just go a small distance, we won't go too far. Very good. That's very good. 3, 2, 1. That's much better, Sam, than the first one. You're really
small things. In a lot, and get more energy.
Yes, that's it.
You're worn out quicker.
So like you're using a lot of your feet and ankle complex there, rather than your hamstrings. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously all of these drills and stuff, like they look a bit, you know, perfect, and like doing these drills is the football pitch is chaotic, like, do you know what I mean? But it's, if you can develop like the way that you react off the floor, you're going to find yourself being able to do that kind of subconsciously on the pitch. So like, you know, a lot of these drills can look like, well, how is that going to help me when I'm, you know, playing in a match? But it's like, you'll start to find these things. It's like, even in the match or even when I was playing there, like I could find myself being quicker with the first couple of steps. Just from practicing accelerating, like trying to get those hips forward, as I was saying to you in the videos, like, you know, your marker would be beside you, and next thing maybe she'd take off, and you're finding, well, I'm actually not doing too bad, like being able to take off with her, do you know what I mean? So it's just kind of stuff like that that's good, you know? Good. Good. 3, 2, 1, and relax. I want to do a couple of lateral movements now. We're going to try a couple of skater hops here, okay? So I have these in the hop series as well for you. So basically it's just kind of, when you're moving side to side, you're going to use a lot more of your groins and the outside of your glutes as well.
Yeah.
And obviously like the lateral and medial part of your feet as well. So it's just good to kind of I always try and do some lateral movements when I'm kind of warming up to go on the pitch or whatever. So we'll just take these nice and steady to start off. So it's just kind of hopping across and back. And we're just trying to stick the landing. Okay. Good. Better. So we'll get the arm action, so say if I'm coming up with my left leg, opposite arm action. Yeah, exactly. So we'll go left leg up. Yeah, that's it. Switch. Yeah. Good. That's it. Yes, oh yes, that's it too. So I suppose with that then in like, so say for example, if you're coming through in a slow motion sprint and your toe is here, that means when you strike the floor, you have to come down to come back up again. So that whole thing of reactivity, when your toes are up, your foot is ready to strike the floor in that position, and then it's just a case of coming back up off the floor, okay? So it's about pushing you forward like that rather than and then having to push. That puts loads of strain on the hamstring, okay? Good. So we might bring it into a skip now. Have you tried a few of these ones? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you show me first. Just give me a demo of kind of what you think it is, and then I'll kind of correct you, right?
So this is kind of what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, good. So that's good in terms of the way that it is to be done, but we just want to get a bit more sort of intentful with it. So we'll come up. So we want to hear that foot attacking the floor rather than sort of yeah, exactly, yeah. So just nice and snappy with it, okay? Good. So we'll try again now. Yeah, so we go up. Yeah. That's it, attack the floor. Good, well done. So we're attacking beneath that hip, okay? Nice and intentful. So we'll go again. Good. Imagine if I'm coming down with this leg and I attack the floor and it's kind of like sinky. It's putting a lot of strain there. So it's about just being off the floor like that, okay? We'll try a few of them. So we're coming up. Say with one side, and then I just want you to switch. So attack. Now we'll go out to the 20. So what I want you to think about in this is that a lot of the time when people do like bridges, they let their ribs sort of flare out and their pelvis sort of, their back sort of arches. I want you to try and keep your ribs down and keep your core nice and tight, okay? So that we're not kind of flaring the core area or flaring or sort of tilting the pelvis, okay? So when we do that, it's going to affect the way that we feel it in our hamstrings. So just going to have that heel into the floor. I want you to keep that pelvis sort of tucked this way rather than like an anterior tilt, okay? So tucked in, and then we're bridging up, and then you're keeping that there. You're not letting yourself flare out. So I actually like to have my head and shoulders sort of up almost, and I can feel that into my hamstring now, and we're breathing down into it, and we should get a nice squeeze on it, okay? Do you feel a bit tighter there when you're doing that? Yeah. Good. 3, 2, 1. Good. And we'll switch over again. Feel a little bit hamstring? Yeah, sure, yeah. If it's not getting it enough for you, just lengthen this leg out a little bit more. Yeah. And we'll have a longer lever then. That's it. Squeeze, squeeze, pushing through that heel, nice and active through the heel. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we'll do a couple of, so again, the purpose of these is kind of to focus on the mechanics that we kind of potentially want to see when we're accelerating in those first couple of steps in a sprint, okay? So it's all about kind of finding those horizontal angles and being able to put your force back and down into the floor and then driving the knee forward, okay? So again, we're going to go through we'll go through a march first. So remember the A march we done? Yeah. So that's kind of the upright one. So we'll go through the wall march here now, which is kind of more horizontal. So, excuse me, so we're kind of setting up sort of 45-degree angles, Sam, okay? In or around, right? We don't want to be too far away from to the railing or too far up. We want to see a little bit of a slant there in our body, okay? So from there then, I want you literally, so we don't want sort of pelvis out here or pelvis sinking in, just nice and square, keeping the ribs tucked down again. And we're just going to start marching, keeping that toe active. And we just come up to where our thigh is just kind of like parallel or perpendicular, sorry, to our torso, okay? So we don't need to hike it up real high like this. So we're here, coming up, back down, up, back down, up, and back down. So nice and steady, just marching up and back down. Good. Yeah, and we're all the time staying off the heel when we're doing these as well, yeah. 2, 1. Good. Okay, how's that, Sam? Not too bad? Yeah. Good. So we'll try the single leg switch now. So similar again to the upright one we done inside there. We're going to stay in this kind of horizontal position. We're going to bring one foot into the starting position. So that's as if we had like taken a step forward in a sprint, okay? And we're going to just literally switch our limbs, okay? So we're going to come up, and then I want you to switch like this. That's it. So we want to try and maintain that horizontal position. So sometimes when we get people to do this, they end up hitting the floor here. So the whole thing about this is that we want to be striking the floor sort of behind us, not like massively behind, but just slightly behind that hip rather than underneath my hip, okay? So bringing that foot up again, and then switch. Nice and steady. Good. Good. And don't worry about bringing that knee too far forward. I want this foot to be a bit more solid when we come into this position rather than toes down. So remember, if my toe is down, it has to hit the floor and I have to sink to push back up, okay? Good. Good, and try and look forward for me now as well. Good. 2 more. 1, 2. Okay. Just one thing I'd say is that you're just a slight bit tucked in here with too much maybe with the pelvis. Just trying to be a bit more sort of neutral with the pelvis, so that when you come through, it's not kind of like that, okay? So we want to try and stay nice and upright, coming through here, get nice and tall, and then like this, nice and steady, okay? Good, so we'll try that again. Much better. That's it, keeping it tall. 2 more. 1, 2, and relax. when people bring that knee through too much, it ends up like that. Yeah. So it's not a case that like when you're in that acceleration phase, your knees aren't going to be coming up to your chest. You know what I mean? They're just going to be coming through. They do want to come up, but they do want to. You're not going to overextend that. So we just want to kind of make it as, I suppose, mimic it as much as we can here in this drill, okay? So double leg switch, same thing again. We're going to start with this one up, and then we're going to end back with this one up as well, okay? So we're just thinking about nice and tall, and then I'm going to be coming forward. This one first, and then switch. Okay, and when I strike the floor, I'm trying to be nice and strong, rather than like this, okay? So let those limbs back there, let them strike the floor, all right? Nice and steady. 1, 2, better, well done, Sam, that's good. 1, 2, good. Good. Brilliant. Strong. Good. Good. So we're going to have a look at acceleration, Sam, right? So we're going to kind of put together how we want to hit the floor, how we want to shoot out with the cannon, and basically move forward in space, okay? So which foot would you be dominant to put forward first then when you're doing this?
Usually my right.
Usually you're right, okay. So when you're doing this, I want you to try and get off that heel, okay? So that's your starting position. And again, like thinking about a game, when you kind of practice this more, you'll be more agile to kind of stay on that midfoot rather than be flat-footed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all about kind of like bringing it together and just kind of repping it out and practicing it more. You want a tendency to pop up a little bit fast and get those legs behind you like this, okay?
Yeah.
So we want to try and punch the knee forward. So think about breaking that glass with the knee in front and then hammering the nail into the floor, okay? So getting that knee in front and then hammering the nail back into the floor. Imagine there was a nail sort of at like 45-degree angle and you want to push off that nail forward rather than pushing up, if that makes sense, okay? So you want to hammer the nail 45-degree angle into the floor, okay? So we'll try that setup again. So nice and loaded up and go. That's it. Much better. Well done. Good. So we'll do a resisted sprint here. So basically this is going to get you to kind of drive those knees up more because you're going to have that resistance pulling against your hips a little bit more there, okay? So that's kind of what I want to get out of this one here. So even if you hold it for me here for a minute, so you hold it here. So I'm going to just come up to the line here and good bit of tension on me there now, and I'm going to have a forward lean here. Okay, and I'm going to burst into a sprint. So nice bit of tension there, and I'm going to go. That's it. Like if you are someone who is tending to sink down into the, we'll say, foot on the floor where you're a bit sinky, like the more you sink with resistance, the more you're going to be pulled back this way. So you really need to kind of be intentful with that push off, okay? So we try a few of these. Let's go. Drive, drive, drive. Good. And relax. Stay down and I want you to drive, drive, drive. Let's go. That's it. Drive, 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 drive. And relax. That's it. Drive, 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 drive. And relax. So we just finished a session there with Sam. Really good session. We're working for well over an hour there. Got through a few bits that I have in the program with her, and the main thing was kind of just going through a couple of the drills, seeing how she's moving, what her efficiency is like in certain phases of running. So acceleration was kind of the main focus today, and we'll meet up again and go through a little bit more of kind of max velocity speed and change of direction as well. So but yeah, really good session. So as you can see there, a couple of clips, went through like a dynamic warm-up and stuff like that first inside in the gym, went through a couple of plyos, ground contacts, and went through a couple of drills then just kind of touching on upright running. Get out onto the pitch then and went through a couple of more specifics then for acceleration, so a couple of resisted sprints in there. So you'll see as well, like Sam kind of has maybe the habit of coming upright a little bit too much too quickly, which can be natural for, you know, players who are a little bit taller, but she's looking to kind of swing the hamstrings back a small bit too far when she's running in general. So just kind of cueing her to kind of drive those knees forward. So burst the balloon and then hammer the nail, hammer that foot down into the floor, trying to maintain that horizontal position, and give her a good chance at gaining ground, and good efficiency there in her first couple of steps. So yeah, really good session, delighted with that. That's something that I'm trying to do with a lot of my players that are working one-to-one with me online, is to meet up with them in person. So I actually have another girl online now. She's a dual player. She's starting this week, so getting her set up inside the program and hoping to meet up with her as well down the line, where we can kind of, you know, get a bit more hands-on with the drills and things like that. And look, it's always nice to meet someone in person, especially when you've been working with them online, and just kind of touch base and stuff like that. So yeah, really good session with Sam there today. And I suppose for a lot of players now at the minute, championship is coming around the corner, so about 3-4 weeks out, I suppose, from championship for most club players. So you know, what you do now is really important, that it benefits your team training and obviously your championship games. So making sure that, you know, you're not guessing anything, that whatever you do has purpose behind it, and you're getting the most out of your performance from doing it as well. And that's kind of one of the main things that players, I've been talking to with players recently, especially those who have filled out my MBF Performance Scorecard, kind of saying like, you know, they aren't sure what to be doing outside of team training, or, you know, they want to improve speed, they want to improve fitness, but they're not sure how to structure it into their week, and things like that. So that's kind of what I do inside MBF Performance for one-to-one players that I work with, taking out that guesswork, giving them the plan and structure that they need in place each week, and that is all kind of juggled and programmed on a weekly basis, because players' weekly schedules are always chopping and changing with team trainings, challenge games, different things popping up. So it's all like really individualized for that person, making sure that they're getting the most out of it for what they need at that time, and then, you know, to benefit their performance on the pitch as well. So if that is something you're interested in, taking away that guesswork for you, having some structure, plan in place with your training, with your nutrition, weekly check-ins and things like that for myself, and then the option for in-person meetups, hit the link in the bio. You can pop in an inquiry, get some more information on it. We can book in a call, have a chat, see where you're at, see what I can help you with, and then put the plan in place from there. So yeah, if you're interested, hit the link in my bio. Hope you enjoyed that session that I did today there with Sam. Would really like to kind of get a few more of those under the belt with my clients, go through a couple of clips and kind of give you an insight into what I do as well. But yeah, feel free to ask me any questions, leave a comment below, share it with a friend who might find it useful. And if you got this far, thanks a million for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.